Hanging silently in space, the world in the shadow of the blue star was once a lonely, barren place, unfit for habitation. However, Althena took pity on that world and transformed it into a place of beauty and wonder. She called the new world Lunar.
The grind, the gift of grind. Some games have it, some don't. Some developers know how to do it, some don't. Some genres know how to really tune in to what is special about a great grind in a video game, and then some just don't get it. Then there are the classics, the classic JRPGs of a bygone era that the current climate just can't seem to get the same magic it used to. I'm talking about that early to mid 90s to early to mid 2000s golden age of the JRPG, the standard, the gold standard. One of the games that really stood out about this period, that really made me fall in love with the JRPG itself and the grinding and the leveling and the dungeon diving and all that stuff that comes with it. That game, of course, is the topic of the first episode of The Grind, Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. This game is a masterpiece. The 5 tenets I use to judge a game are story, characters, art, music, gameplay. This has it all, and in some ways, and in a lot of ways, this set the foundation for what I would look for in a great game moving forward. Now, when I got introduced to Lunar 2, it was the release on PS1. I did go back and play the older version of the game years after I played this game, but it was 1998 when this game came out. I've still got my special edition on the shelf back here. It is special. It is one of those games that to this day I look at and go, that's the one right there. But what makes this game so special? What makes this game so special is from a gameplay perspective. Now, the game has wonderful music, has great characters, has a terrific story, but what the game does really well, and it just does right, is the leveling. It's the grinding. It's the dungeon diving. And the dungeons, by design, are sort of repetitive in ways, but the enemies vary in difficulty to such a way, and the characters have so many abilities they need to learn, the things you need to level up with them, that it's just fun. The flow of battle, the flow of combat, the flow of the different dungeons and places where you encounter enemies, and the rewards you get are fantastic. It keeps you coming back for more. This is the absolute pinnacle for me of how you do grind in a video game. If games coming out today were to just copy exactly what Lunar 2 does, I wouldn't be mad at it, and put their own little spin on it, I wouldn't be mad at it. It's great. I think, for my money, it hits all the other notes I want of games from that era. Like as far as like the story, the characters, the music, the artwork, it hits all those notes for me. And the grinding in the game is fantastic. You find yourself going through hours and hours of the same dungeon and you don't realize it because the combat is just that fun. The characters, some of the things they say in between, like the battles, the techniques they call out in battle, and the way they attack and the flow of the combat is just so great. And I really miss victory music in a game. Like, it was always nice to get that victory music, and then every now and then you would get the sound effect, the bring, saying you leveled up or you learned this skill while everyone's doing their celebratory dance. We just don't get that these days. And this game is really just, I keep saying it, but it really is, for me, the gold standard of that era of JRPGs. Other games have tried to duplicate what this game did, and they don't quite get the soul of it. Lunar 1 is fantastic as well, don't get me wrong, but Lunar 2 takes what Lunar 1 did well with its gameplay and level design and how it makes you grind for levels through the different areas you have to go through, and even the boss fights. It takes that and improves upon them. It makes it more slick, it makes it more streamlined, it makes it more fun. And that's what keeps me coming back to this game. I'll play retro playthroughs of the game once every couple of years on stream. I did one last year. It's always a great time. It's like going back and visiting old friends, going back and playing Lunar 2. The game itself is great. The story is fantastic. The cutscenes are good. I always love going back and watching videos of the old cutscenes from the game, listening to the voice acting. Voice acting in anime and games from like that mid to late 90s era, people kind of cheese on it every now and then, but you know, it really is a staple of the time. You can go back, even if it's some of it's cheesy in places, you can go back, it puts a big smile on my face, and I have a great time with it. All in all, if you have never played Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, you owe it to yourself, especially if you're a fan of the JRPG genre. If you're a fan of this style of game, you owe it to yourself to go back and revisit and play this game, because it is an absolute gem. It is a 10 out of 10 for me. It is a legendary gold title. It is in the Hall of Fame here on this network. I will always cherish this game. I will always have that collector's edition on my shelf. This is the game that made me fall in love with grinding in video games. This is the game that solidified me being a fan of JRPGs. This is the game that anytime a new JRPG was coming out, or I would see one on the shelf at the store, I would buy it. Even if it was bad, and a lot of times the game wasn't great that I would buy, but this game made me buy every game that came out like that. And for that, I salute Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. This is a fantastic title. I wish they would continue the series. I don't even know who owns the rights to this series anymore, or who it fell to, or who it is, who it goes to now, but I love it. I would love to see more. That's all I've got to say about this one right now. So if you're a fan of dungeon crawling, grinding in games, and spending time with great characters as you do it, you owe it to yourself to play Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. This is a Hall of Fame game for me. It will always be in the Hall of Greats. And on that note, I will leave you all. Have a great night. Be safe. Be good to each other. Keep rocking. And I will see you all in the next video. Grind on, baby. Grind on.
I will never forget this place. The people here, they will live on in my memory. Forever. I must go, hero. Please understand why.
I want to say a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members and supporters. If you would like to support the future creation of content on this channel, get some few extra perks and some art sent to your door every month, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. Details and links are in the video description.